Hi everyone, it's me Sharon. I hope you're all alright. I have some finished objects to show you and I don't know where to start. Right, I think I'll start with this. You might remember seeing this some point last year and I can't remember. I found which video it's in and I should have checked so I could say 18 point whatever. It's a Bolero and I primarily used the video by Yolanda, Soto, Lopez. You know when you do a crochet square and then you do chain stitches down each side, so that's the armholes, and then you go round and round and round with the shell stitch. I finally finished it. And that's what it looks like at the back. And I've put it on and I don't like it on myself. How many times have I done that? But the item itself is great. I'm going to see if somebody wants to wear it. I'll take it to Knit and Natter tomorrow and show them. Oh, maybe I won't, not yet. I want to put this on my... I've got like a desktop body form. So it's just like the torso. And she attaches to the deck. What do you call it? A desk, that's it. She attaches to the desk with a clamp. And it's adjustable so you can change her bust size and everything, and it is female because she's got a bust, so I can put it on there and I take photos, and that's the plan. But it's going to have to wait a couple of weeks because we have construction going on at the moment, although the guys have left for the day. I know we have to wait for the electrician to put the holes in the ceiling and do the light bulbs. Right, the second thing I was going to show you, remember I did those knit and chat videos, the last two, which were the first two of this year. Do you know what? I'm going to go back to my original format. Knit and chat doesn't work for me. It's I don't think it's people don't like much change, so they don't respond to it, or yeah, so it's, anyway, I think I'm better off just return to my original format. People seem to like that, that's okay. Right, so I finished the scarf. Yay! That's only half of it because it's so long, and there's the tassels, so at least you get an idea of what it looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? And I can't remember. I got it from Palm Stretcher, and I was hoping for a darker colour, and I was a little bit disappointed when I saw this, but I thought, okay, no, let's just go with it. And I'm glad I did. It looks okay, so I'm really happy with that. And then basically I used this as one big gauge swatch because I wanted to do, and I did do, a sideways hat. I did too many stitches though. So this is actually a double rolled brim. It's rolled over twice. However, it could be a slouchy, which is why I didn't put a pom-pom on it. But that's the shape of it because of the short rows. So it's like the final 10 stitches. So you cast on your outer stitches with a provisional cast on. You work up all of, which way? You work down, so then you're working up to the last 2 stitches, then turn, last 2 stitches to pintle. Each time you're knocking off 2 stitches, you're not working them, so in total I think there was about 10 stitches I didn't work, and then that was it. And then after I did my final, where you zip them up basically, you knit all of the stitches, and then you go back down again and start the whole process again, so it's all in segments. And the very final one where I zipped them up, no I didn't zip them up, I did that way because I actually did the Kitchener stitch to join the provisional cast on and the final edge. And for Kitchener on garter stitch, it's exactly the same, the front and back needle, because when you're doing Kitchener stitch with stockinette stitch, you start at the front needle. It's knit off, purl, purl off, knit. Okay, so the front needle, then the back needle. Knit off, purl, front needle, purl off, knit on the back needle. Is that what I said? Hang on, let me just check. Knit off, purl on the front needle, purl off, knit on the back needle. That's for stockinette stitch. However, in garter, you do knit off, purl, and it's that all the way along, and it's brilliant. And I confused myself afterwards because I thought, do you know, this is really weird. This is a 4mm zing needle, and the numbers have not come off. Right, look at this. So I'm going to find, it's here, I'm trying to read what that says on the back, US and then millimetres, and on this side it's millimetres and imperial. So I'm just going to shove it in millimetres for 4 millimetres, which is what it is, you can see, 4 millimetres, and it's perfect, look at that. Right, that is a 4 millimetre needle. Well, I was working on these, which are knit pro novas, thinking they were 4 millimetres. However, look how, it's just, I don't know if you can see it, the gap at the top. Oh, my finger's there. Can you see that? It fits better in the 3.75. Now, this what would happen if I put it in the 3.5, but let me just put this in the 3.75. Where is it? There. So it stops. So this is definitely a 4 millimetre. This, I'm sure it's a 3.75, but you know what's confusing? When I very first got my Knit Pro Novas, I got the basic set. No, that's not it. Which gave me a 4 millimetre, a 5 millimetre and a 6 millimetre. Well, a pair of the 4 millimetres is out in a project, and I know which one it's in because it's not there. Right? The second set of 4 millimetres, when I got the deluxe version, is there. Now what I've done, you don't get the whole range of sizes when in the Knit Pro Novas, the deluxe set. So at some point I know I needed a 3.75, which I've got there, and I got a Symphony, just for the sake of being different and wanting to know what it was like. So that's a 3.75 for definite. Oh, actually I should pull it out. And I know I don't have a metal 3.75. So what's going on here? It's really weird. Okay, that's me shoving the 3.75 in a 4 millimetre hole. I don't know if you can see that gap just at the top. Put it in the 3.75. It's perfect. It's very much like this. So I'm thinking these metal ones here are 3.75, but I know I definitely did not buy the 3.75. But I must have. I can't figure out where it's come from. So I knitted that scarf with the 3.75 millimetres instead of the 4, but that's fine, and the hat as well, because it was just a blank. It's not something that needed to be fitted, but nevertheless I used that gauge on the scarf for the hat. But again, it doesn't matter, really. But that's really weird, hang on. I do have 2 sets of the 3.5 millimetres. Now, the 3.5 millimetres did come with the deluxe. Now why have I got another set? Well, I used them in a project. For some reason I thought they were 4 millimetres, I don't know why, and I can't remember which project it was. I could not for the life of me find my 3.5 millimetres, and I couldn't figure out where they were, but they were in a project and I thought they were 4 millimetres. I don't know why, I must have picked them up wrong or something, which is why I labelled them. See these cards here? That's what I hacked to bits, what came with the deluxe, and I put them in the slots so I knew what they were. So these are 3.5s, let me have a look. Now putting the whole of the 3.5. Perfect. It does go through, but it is perfect. Try it in a 3.25, won't go. 3.75, when it's loose. This is akin to these going in the 4 millimetre hole. So those are definitely 3.75. I don't remember getting them. And they're not accounted for in my basic range and then the deluxe range. So I must have got them separately, and I don't know, I don't remember. And I thought they were 4 millimetres, but they're not. They are 3.75, and I really need to put them in that slot before I knit some more stuff on there thinking they're 4 millimetres. Because they're not. What am I like? Well, that is baffling, but this, right, has anybody got one of these? Now, I imagine a lot of people have. I no longer use these. I use that, and the rulers, they're fine, no problem. But I no longer use these because the 4 millimetre isn't the same. Let me show you the 4 millimetre again here. 4mm and it goes through no problem. Right, you can see it's on the 4mm, yeah? Please, I hope you can see that, okay. Okay. Put it in the 4mm here, which is along the top. Can you see the millimetres are the number along the top? So I'm following those numbers. 4mm, which is a US size 6, I think. Have you seen the size of that hole? And I'll hold it from the other end. Have you seen that? That's huge difference. Let me pull out. I'll do a 5mm, see what happens. Oh no, they're in work somewhere. A 5.5. They're in a project, the 5mm, I don't know where though. That's a 5.5. Well, let's put it in here first so I can see 5.5mm. Alright. No problem, see? 5.5mm. Let's see what happens with this. It might just be exclusive to the 4mm hole. So I'm looking at the 5mm hole, which is a US size 9. That's really quite loose compared with this. And this is, I think this is a pony. That is really weird. So, because I know for a fact these are 4mm and they fit in the pony, I don't use the needle gauge anymore because I just feel the holes are too big. If people use that, they could quite easily go wrong somewhere. Let me put that back in the 5.5. Yeah, that is so weird. Has anybody else experienced that with needle gauges? Because, yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to go through my inbox. See, I've ordered at some point a 3.75. Because it's doing me head in now, because I'm thinking, how could I possibly have... Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, it was for a scarf. It's not like it was a fitted item, really. Well, the hat was, but I based it on this gauge, so it was its own gauge, so no problem there. Anyway, there's dust everywhere in the house. Even in this room, I've kept the door shut, and we've got construction going on at the moment. Sealing the floor. It's severely like soundproofing. Like, completely, we expressly asked for soundproofing when the extension was built. It's just loft insulation. So, some other guys are doing the job, and we thought we'd have to wheel CG around the outside of the house, out through his patio doors in his bedroom, and then back in at the side. Luckily, we don't need to do that. They keep a clear path for us and make sure it's safe, so we can walk through his living room to take him to the dining room. When we need to, but that's in the evening. But other than that, we keep him in his bedroom when he's not at the day centre. And that sounds awful, but I'm with him anyway. So, yeah, I was going to say it's a bit cramped. It's not really, but it's a smaller space than we're used to, but it's okay. And at least he's got his other door to come out of, the disabled entrance, that's okay. It's just a couple of weeks of mayhem and then clearing up the dust for a few weeks afterwards. Never mind. Anyway, that's my project. So there was the Bolero, I think it's a Bolero, the scarf and the hat, and that's all done. And there's something else, and it's in the other room, and I don't want to get up. Oh, I'll get up, hang on. I'm back. Right, I've started again. I pulled something out. Do you ever remember me starting to do a miter square blanket? Well, I started it. There's a pattern on Ravelry, I assume it's still free. Miter square blanket. And she gives you the needle suggestions. Well, I started it with this yarn, and I managed to do 3 rows of 8, and I'm starting on the 4th row, the column. But I wasn't liking it. One, when I first started it, I didn't know how to do a miter square, so I was learning, and it looked... I forgot to slip the first stitch purl-wise, but I start to do that now, it looks much neater. The other thing was, this yarn, although it's a DK weight, it's a thin DK weight, and although I use the Dreams, Knit Pro Dreams, I use the 4mm. And I kept thinking, it's rather thin, it needs to be a little bit firmer. So I pulled the whole thing out, and I'll show you this thing in a minute, it's funny. And I went down to the 3.5mm and I just did the same thing again, except I didn't cast on 41 stitches as per the pattern. I actually cast on 81 stitches, so the squares are going to be bigger. And I feel better because I've also changed the double centre decrease to a slip 2 together, knit 1 and pass the 2 slip stitches over. And I like that. I love that effect. So I've started again. I've slipped the first stitches so I can pick them up. It's going to be much better. This is what's funny. You're not going to believe this. Right. Right. I had it caked. And you know the size of a cake, it's roughly about, you know, the wool winders. So it's not very big, is it? Well, when I was winding them back, obviously I'd used several cakes by the time I got to wherever I got to, 3 point whatever columns. So I was winding it all back on, and somehow this cake, which on its side was probably about that wide, has ended up like a bloody sausage. How the... I mean, it was only probably about that up to there, but actually it's probably... the real cake is probably... oh, it's either there or it's here. It feels firmer here, so it's probably here. How the heck I managed to make it grow like that? I have no idea. That is so funny. Oh my god. Am I the only one who does daft things like that? Because I feel like I am. No one else could be like that, surely. You're going to tell me you are, aren't you? That's even longer than a Red Hat Super Saver. Anyway, I don't know how it managed to grow from the sideways cake to that length without collapsing. How did it do that? Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun working on that. So, that was a good laugh. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here because I'm just being silly now. I'll just laugh at anything. I'll say a word wrong and I'll just start laughing. I'm just crazy sometimes. I've got knit and natter tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. And it's a lovely day out there. It's really nice. But we had a meeting this morning, so we couldn't leave the house. And also, we don't really want to leave the house at the moment because these guys, we've only just met them 2 days ago. The construction guys. So anyway, I'm going to go now for the next instalment, and hopefully I'll be able to show you something else soon. Because I am working really hard on my projects because I want to do my other hobby. So that's it. I can't find my mouse, but I was looking for my mouse to turn off the camera, and I just realised it won't turn off the camera. Okay, Cheryl, get real. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Ring the bell to make sure you get notifications, and click the like button and hopefully leave a comment. Okay, so I'll speak with you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye!